Hello, good afternoon to all of you who are waiting for this Q&A session. We shall begin with the question.
This one is from YouTube Live, from Stephen Morris. When being born in a human realm, some beings are unfortunately born with disabilities. This, I believe, is due to their past karma. But if someone is born with very bad brain damage, they would not be able to listen and follow the Buddha's teaching. How would they be able in this lifetime to gain any merits to further themselves along the path to Nibbana?
Well, they must be capable of making the merit. If they are not capable, then they cannot do it. So they have to consider it unfortunate for them not to be able to make any merit.
Also from YouTube Live, from Malaysia, from Chonburi. Since mindfulness is the key to successful meditation, and there are many different ways to develop mindfulness instead of reciting Butto Butto or focusing on the body, can I keep focused on the breath while doing my daily activities like brushing teeth or taking a bath? In other words, can I use the breath as an anchor of my mindfulness in daily activities so that my mind doesn't think about other things?
Yes, you can do it. You can use anything. The goal is to stop your mind from thinking about other things.
Another one from YouTube Live as well, from Malaysia, from Santi Sultan. When I recite and contemplate the 32 parts of the body, I find it is difficult to visualize, since I do not know how it looks like and where the location of each part in the body. Even when I look at some internet, I still find it difficult to visualize in my mind. So should I continue reciting and contemplate the 32 parts, trying harder to visualize it, or should I recite and contemplate without clear visualization, or should I switch to other subjects?
Just contemplate on the names of the 32 parts and just visualize or think of the parts that you can visualize. You don't have to visualize if you cannot. All you have to do is not to forget. As long as you remember the different parts of the body, not the inside 32 parts, just the major part that will make your mind have revulsion for the body. That's all you need to do. Have the mind have no attraction toward the body. That's the goal of investigating or contemplating on Asubha. Just so that you can see that besides the part you see with your eyes, there are parts that you cannot see with your eyes, like the skeleton, the intestines, the heart, lungs, kidney, all the major organs. That's all you have to see, to know, or to remember. As long as you remember, every time you look at a beautiful person, think of the other part, then you can then stop your attraction toward that particular body.
This one is from US. Women stay in temple told me that they don't have enough money, but difficult to go back to work as they have stayed in temple for so long. So I feel paranoid because staying in temple for so long, whether I should retire or not. But I want to spend more time meditating. Can Ajahn advise?
Well, there are temples in which you don't have to spend money to live there, but you might have to help with the work in the temple. So you have to go look for temples in which you don't have to spend money to live. In Thailand we have temples which people can go and stay and practice and maybe do some work helping the temple.
This question is from Norway, from Elizabeth Weber. I sometimes have a problem with strong vibhava tanha arising post-meditation. Typically, when doing death contemplation, my mind can get great bliss and clarity. However, when I come out of meditation, I can get a very strong dislike for noticing my body and my senses in the outer world. Please advise how to handle this.
It means you don't have strong enough mindfulness to resist this bad feeling toward the death of the body, then you should not contemplate on that during that time. Only contemplate when your mind is ready to accept, to see the truth of the body. So you need samadhi. You need a calm mind. It's usually good when you come out of samadhi, when the mind is still calm and fresh. Then you can contemplate on the negative aspect of life, which we normally don't like to contemplate upon, because we have defilement that will create this bad feeling, this negative feelings toward this negative fact of life. But when you come out of samadhi, your mind will be neutral. There is no defilement working at that time, so you can then contemplate on the bad aspect of life, like contemplating on death or on a supa.
Question number 2, from California, USA, from Jill Fu. I often get a wrongful I know better feeling, which eventually gets me into trouble and makes me feel ashamed. What are good practices to overcome egotism?
Well, the Buddha said you should treat yourself make yourself like a servant. Think yourself as a servant. Think yourself as the lowest thing on earth. Like make yourself like the earth that people walk upon, so that you don't mind if anybody will say anything bad about you or treat you badly, treat you like a beggar, treat you like a scum, treat you like a servant, because you think yourself as a scum, as a servant. Then this is the way of sort of cutting down your ego. Don't think that you are a professor, you are a doctor, you are an engineer, you are a rich man, you are the boss. If you think like this, then you are stroking up your ego. So you want to cut down your ego by pretending to be a beggar, to be a servant, to be a vagabond.
The next question is from Hong Kong, from Nicholas. When meditating, is it permissible to keep my eyes open slightly? Because I notice that sometimes it is actually easier for me to get into calm state by meditating with my open eyes, and I wonder if this is normal.
Usually not, because to get into full concentration, you usually have to close all your receptor. Your eyes is one of the receptor. If you open up your eyes will receiving images, and then your mind will react to those images, and you will not have full concentration. But if you find it useful at the start, okay, then after your mind become calm, try to close your eyes and try to concentrate further, because you still have to go a lot further. You have to abandon the body. The mind has to separate from the body in order to be fully concentrated, to enter into samadhi. The body and the mind need to be separated. And you can only separate it by closing your eyes and your other receptors.
Next question from Jay. How to develop meditation when you have only sporadic instruction and not formal training with a teacher?
Well, nowadays you can have a lot of teaching, because you can read books in the internet. There are many sources of instruction. You can read, and then the practice, it depends on yourself. If you don't have time, then you have to make time. You have to sacrifice the time that you spend on other things. You cannot have everything within the 24-hour time span of a day. You have to make priorities, and choose which one is more important. Whether watching a movie or meditation is more important. You have to trade. You cannot have both of them. If you want to have time for meditation, then you have to give up time on other things, like watching movies or talking to your friends, or do some activity that you like. You have to use rationality in order to prioritize. Meaning, you have to look at the result of the time you spend on different activity, which is more conducive, more beneficial to the mind. And the thing that is beneficial to the mind is peace of mind, the state of being free from desire. So whichever activity that will make the mind peaceful and have no desire, then that's the activity you want to prioritize. But the activity that makes you not peaceful or have more desire, then you should get rid of it.
Next question from the same person, from Jay. Is it possible to practice equanimity and not be indifferent to events on people?
Yes, equanimity means to be emotionally uninvolved, but you still are involved rationally. You still think rationally. You still can interact, but you only interact because there's a reason to, not because of your emotion, of your like or dislike. When you have equanimity, it means you have no like or dislike, fear or delusion toward the things that you come into contact with. But you can still use your rationality to react to those things or events.
Next question from Indonesia, from Johnny Chiang. What should we choose as an object of meditation as a beginner? Should we chant a Buddhist verse or notice the in and out breath?
It depends on what is appropriate for you. This is when you sit. When you first try to concentrate on your breath and you find it's difficult because your mind wants to think about various things, then you should use chanting instead. Chant for a while to keep your mind, to slow your mind down, to calm your mind down, until you feel that your mind doesn't think anymore. Then you can concentrate on your breath, watching your breath. But when you start and you can concentrate on your breath because you're not thinking about the other thing, then you don't need to chant. So it depends on the state of mind of yourself, whether it is calm or not calm, whether it's restless or not restless. So you can decide which is more appropriate for you at that time.
Next question from Johnny Chang as well. When I first meditate, I use the verse, "May all beings be happy," as my object of meditation. After 2 months, I found peace that I never felt before. The feeling was I wasn't able to chant anymore and my mind seemed to stop completely. The mind was peaceful. I got excited and I changed to a different object of meditation. I changed to breathing because I read on internet that many people use breathing as the object of meditation. However, after changing the object of meditation, I couldn't find any peace. So I went back to my previous verse, which is "May all beings be happy." But my mind didn't get the peace either. I became sleepy, and after some time reciting the verse, I kept yawning. My mind is empty, but my body bent to the left by itself. The words I chanted become so twisted and become bad words. Now I go back to the breathing. On every breath, I said one, and out breath, I said one, and I counted until 5, but I still couldn't find peace. What should I do?
Well, you should go back to the one that makes you peaceful. May all beings be happy. But you feel sleepy, then you should just stop and get up and walk instead. Because sometimes your body can become sleepy. So when you feel sleepy, then sitting will not be appropriate. Then you just switch your mode of practice from sitting to walking, or standing. And then You walk until you feel no longer sleepy, then you can come back and sit and meditate again. So sometimes you have to shift, to change course in order to cope with the different issues and problems that may arise in your practice.
Next question from Jamie Fullerton. I've heard some teachers, including Ajahn, say that one should watch the breath at the tip of the nose. I find this difficult either because a blocked nose or I simply can't feel any sensation, and so I watch the rise and fall of the abdomen instead. Is it okay, or should I make more effort to watch my breath?
It's okay, whichever point you find obvious to you, as long as it can anchor your mind, doesn't let your mind go wandering and think about other things, then it's okay.
Can Ajahn give advice on how to stay mindful in day-to-day life?
Just be mindful of your body activity. Every movement, every posture, every action that you do, just watch. Don't send your mind thinking about something else when you are walking, standing, eating, dressing, taking a shower, driving, or whatever activity you do. Stay with the activity. This is being mindful.
Next question from Singapore, from Danny Theo. It seems that I'm controlling my breath during meditation. How to be sure that I'm focusing on natural breathing rather than I'm doing breathing exercise?
Well, you just watch, just like you're watching a football game, or just watch. Don't manage the thing that you watch. Just watch your breath. Just know that you are breathing in, breathing out. Whether your breath is short or long, just know for what it is. Don't manage it. For instance, if you think I'm having short breath, so I want to make it long, then this is managing it. You don't want to change the breath. Just leave the breath alone. If it's short, let it be short. If it's long, let it be long. If it is coarse or subtle, let it be just as it is. Just watch. You use the breath to anchor your mind, to prevent your mind from thinking about other things. If you start to think about other things, then it means you're not watching your breath. Then you should come back to your breath and stop thinking.
Next question from USA, from Miss Tina Prom. I was wondering, how can I find happiness in this life? What is this life about?
Well, this life, there are two kinds of happiness. The true happiness and the fake happiness. Right now, most people go after the fake happiness. Fake happiness means temporary happiness. You have it and then it disappears. You do something you like, you have happiness. Then after that, it disappears. Then you have to do more in order to get more of it. This is fake happiness. And one day you will not be able to do it when your body starts to become old, or when your body gets sick or die. Then instead of having happiness, then you will have suffering instead. There's another kind of happiness that the Buddha had discovered. That is true happiness, because you can have it all the time, and it will stay with you all the time, regardless of whether your body is old, is sick or die. You can still have this kind of happiness. This is the happiness that arises from your meditation practice, calming your mind. Once your mind becomes calm, then the mind becomes happy. This kind of happiness doesn't have to rely on other things to make you happy. And it stays with you, because you can always make it, as long as you can make the mind calm, then you can always have this happiness.
Next question from Singapore, from Ms. Chua Siu Ju. Can Ajahn give full set of instruction on body contemplation? And how can this be used as a prelude or serve to our concentration practice?
The body contemplation has many different aspects that you have to contemplate upon. Like the impermanent aspect, you have to look, the body is constantly changing from birth to death. The body keeps changing its shape, its condition. It grows up, it gets old, it gets sick and die. You want to keep reminding yourself of this fact, this truth, in order to be able to cope with the changing condition of the body. If you don't contemplate when the body changes from good to bad, you will become sad. But you constantly contemplate or being aware that this is part of the nature of the body, that it's going to go from good to bad. When it turns from good to bad, then you will not feel sad, because you prepare yourself to accept this truth. So this is one aspect, to contemplate that this is the nature of the body. It is constantly changing, and it will usually go from good to bad. Eventually it will get old, get sick and die. And there's nothing you can do about it except accept it for what it is. If you can accept it, then you will not be hurt by this changing condition of the body. The second aspect you want to contemplate is that the body isn't you. You, the contemplator, and the body is two separate persons. You are the mind, the one who contemplates on the nature of the body. That the body is just made up of the 4 elements, and it becomes a 32 part, like the part that build up the body, like hair of the head, hair of the body, nail, teeth, skin, skeleton, heart, lungs, intestine, and so forth. These are just the organs, the parts that build up the body. And none of this part is you. None of this part is the mind. The mind is not in the body. The mind is another person. The mind is like a doctor, while the body is like a physician. It's the patient. So the mind just look after the body. But due to delusion, the mind thinks that it is the body. So whatever happens to the body, the mind becomes affected. But if you can separate the mind from the body, to know that the mind is the one who contemplates, who knows, who thinks. The body is the organ that is made up of the 4 elements. That one day it will return back to the 4 elements. When the body stops functioning, then all the 4 elements will separate from the body. If you know this, then you will not be hurt when things happen to the body. And at the same time, you will also see the true appearance of the body. We normally only see the external part of the body, so we become attracted to the beautiful parts of the body. But if we look inside, look at the other parts of the body, then we can see that besides the attractive part of the body, there is also unattractive part of the body. This will prevent us or stop us from having any attraction toward the body of other people. It can stop our sexual desire. And then if we have no sexual desire, then we can live alone and be happy. It's better kind of happiness than the happiness you get from living with somebody else. Because you live with other people, eventually you're going to end up arguing, you're going to end up having quarrels, and you might end up separating. So then what happens when you have to separate? You feel bad again, you feel sad again. But if you can see from the start that the person that you think is attractive is not really attractive, because you can see the other parts of the body, then you will not have any attraction, have any sexual attraction toward that person. Then you can live alone. You don't have to go out and look for company, for companion, because you are happy by being alone. So this is the different aspect of contemplating on the body. Besides looking at the 32 parts, sometimes you also have to contemplate on the after the body dies, how it looks like. The 10 stages of corpse. From the first few days when the body dies, it gets bloated, and then it becomes turned greenish, and then you have all the fluid coming out, and then eventually it breaks up and decay and dried up, and eventually become dust. So this is what you want to contemplate, to see the true nature of the body, to prevent you from being attached to the body, your body or other people's body. Then you know that the body is just the body. It's not the mind. See, the mind doesn't die with the body. The mind is the person who we communicate with through the body. They don't die. Like your father and your mother don't die. The body of your father and mother is not your father and your mother. The body is just a medium that your father and mother use to communicate with you. And you use your body to communicate with your father and mother. You are not the body. Your father and your mother are not the body. They are the mind that doesn't die with the body. If you know this truth, then you will not feel sad when you lose your loved ones, because you don't really lose them. It's just their body, the medium that they use to communicate with you, like a telephone. The one who used the telephone doesn't die with the telephone. They just go buy a new telephone when the old phone breaks down. They just go buy a new one.
So, how does this use as a prelude or serve us to our concentration practice?
If you can think like this, your mind will become peaceful and calm and concentrated, because the truth will calm your mind. It's only the fake truth that will agitate it and make your mind restless.
Next question from the same person, from Ms. Chua. I'm currently studying Dhamma at the Buddhist Center. How should we relate to fellow students at Dhamma Center? Because things go wrong often and it would be impractical to leave a center every time a conflict or disagreement happens. What should I do when these things happen?
Just leave everything alone. Don't get involved. Just be observer instead of be actor. Only act when you really have to. If you don't have to act, just be an observer. Just be aware of what's going on. Don't get involved.
Next question from Indonesia, from Levi Olivia. When we start meditating and when the mind starts wandering, the citta and cetasika arise within us. So my question is whether these citta and cetasika that arise, are they arise unintentionally as they lie in our unconscious mind, or are they arise deliberately because we think about our daily life?
They are driven by avijja. Avijja paccaya sankhara. Sankhara is your thinking. When you start to think, then all this citta and cetasika arise, feelings and so forth, mood, emotion arise from your thinking, and your thinking is driven by avijja, ignorance. Ignorance means it doesn't know that happiness is stop thinking. So it keeps thinking because it thinks by thinking it will make it happy. See? Because when you think, then you say, oh, I can think about coffee, think about food, think about entertainment. Then you think that, then you go after the thing that you think, and it will make you happy. See? But the truth is, to be really happy is to stop thinking, to have a peaceful mind.
What citta and cetasika that arises when we achieve samadhi?
When you have samadhi, all the cetasika will stop. All the namakanda will stop. Vedana, sanya, sankhara, vijnana, which are the cetasikas, they all will stop functioning temporarily. All you have left is the mind, the one who knows, and equanimity.
Next question from Man Yi Lao. Bante, I have a question regarding someone who is very sick and suffering. Doctor suggested to give the patient an injection to then end the life of the patient, so he doesn't have to bear the pain. Is this wrong to do so?
Yes, to kill is wrong. You can help them by just leaving them alone. Let them. If you can help, teach them to make the mind calm. That's the best way. But if you cannot, then you have to let it be naturally. To stop someone else's life is killing. Even if the person asks you to do it, is still considered killing. It's one of the 5 precepts.
Next question from Malaysia, from Sumana Lim. When I sit in meditation for 30 minutes, sometimes I feel impatient. When that impatience arises during my sitting, can I get up and switch to walking, or should I persist in sitting for the entire 30 minutes?
Well, the reason why you sit because you want to calm your mind. If your mind not calm, and if you get up, then you haven't achieved your goal. But if you want to achieve your goal, then you have to persist, keep on meditating. And maybe if you win, your mind can become calm. The reason why your mind become restless is because you have desire to get up. See? And if you follow that desire, then you will never be successful in your meditation. Because after you sit for a while, your mind will want to get up. So if you want to be successful and move forward, you have to persist with your practice. Keep on sitting. Even if you want to get up, try to stop your thought of getting up by reciting a mantra. If you can stick to the mantra, then you can forget about getting up. Then you can continue sitting and don't feel bad. And your mind might even become concentrated and drop into calm eventually.
The similar question, when my laziness arises and I do not want to meditate, can I have a shorter sitting such as 10 minutes, or should I persist with my 30 minutes?
Well, the more you do, the more result you will get. Like if you go to a bank and the bank say, go into the vault and pick up as much money as you want. How much time you want to spend picking up the money? 10 minutes or 30 minutes? It's up to you. Meditating is like digging gold. The more time you spend digging, the more gold you get.
Okay. Her next question. My friend have left Malaysia and go for further studies and career, and I feel very down. My head knows that this is due to attachment, yet I can't shake off that feeling of sadness. How do I deal with this because it's conflicting?
Use mantra. Stop thinking about that person. Bring your mind back to the present. The person is now already gone. It's the past. You're living in the past. You want to live with that person. So you should forget about that person by using a mantra to pull your mind away from that person. When you no longer think of that person, then the bad feeling that arises from thinking about that person will disappear.
Next question from Singapore, from Ta Nui. Master, what should I chant to have a better relationship with my wife?
Metta Pavana. You should give her love and kindness. Then you will have better relationship. You should forgive her transgression. You should forgive her mistakes, and you should give her whatever she wants. Then you will always be happy with her.
Okay. Next question.
You cannot chant. Chanting is not the solution. The solution is to treat her nice. Treat her like when the first time you met her. Go back, reset your relationship to the first day when you met her. Then you will have good relationship with her.
Next question from Singapore, from Cheng Lun. I've been practicing short meditation for years, and it seems there is no concrete result in terms of overcoming the emotional aspect of my personality. I get irritated when the works in office are not done in accordance to our requirements, especially repeated problems, and when there is a serious customer's complaint. It seems like I need a prolonged meditation retreat to remove the seeds of frustration. Can Ajahn guide, please?
Yes. Meditation is like taking medicine. When you go to the hospital and the doctor gives you a bunch of medicine and you only take one, and you one a day instead of 10 a day according to the prescription, then there would not be any result from taking that way of medicine. You have to take the full medication in order to be able to achieve any result. Meaning you have to really practicing full time to really get any result from your practice. Otherwise, you just might get a little bit here and there.
Next question from Singapore, from Lisa Wu. Is it normal to treat close relatives as dead people while they are sleeping? Is this part of practice letting go of attachment and desire with our loved ones?
You should think of everybody as a dead person, because they all will die. Not just your loved ones, everybody. Even yourself, your body also is the same thing. It's just a corpse waiting to happen. When you suddenly stop breathing, you become a corpse. So think ahead of time, so that when things happen, you don't get what you call knocked out from the event.
Can we use this method to contemplate on the three universal truths: impermanent suffering and no self?
Yes, it's part of the three universal truth: impermanent.
This one is long one. From Indonesia, from Miss Flora Tan. I read a write-up about karma which mentioned that good people don't enjoy good life, whereas bad people usually have good life. I then compare it to my own situation. I encounter many difficulties and obstacles since I was a child, but since several years ago, I start accumulating many good merits, although my financial condition is not good. I donated much of my very limited investment and I save money to do donation. I donate money to meditation center, to forest temple which is led by those who are believed to have at least attained Sotapanna. I also give alms to people who are believed to have attained purity. I used to release fish every week, which I spend about half of my salary. I also donated to autists, old people and sick people. Besides, I have to support my brother who is unemployed. I'm not lazy because apart from having full-time job, I have my own business as well. As I don't have much capital, I rely on good luck to keep it going. But I've observed every time that when I was about to success, bad karma hits me. I practice 5 precepts, although it's not 100% perfect, but I think I'm not bad. I do understand about receiving the fruit of bad karma from past life. So I understand, although I have made good merits in this life, when my bad karma ripen, I continue to pay the bad karma and suffer this life. So people always tell me to make a lot of merits to change fate. I have done it a lot, but it seems it doesn't work. My merit-making action are not little merits, because it involves much sacrifice, involve holy people as recipient. So why can this situation happen? Why obstacles often come to me?
You have to understand that what you do today might not be the result happening today or this life. See, what you do today might take time for it to develop, and it might appear in your next life. And what is appearing in this life is probably the past karma you did in your previous life. So sometimes you get confused by thinking like planting a tree today, and you expect to get the fruit from the tree today. Why you have a few other trees that you have planted 10 years ago and it's giving fruit. So this is what you do today. It still doesn't give you the result that you want. This is because this is the way how things work. Sometimes it takes time for things to develop and to give result. But there are things that there are the result that you can experience right away after you do it. This is the feeling you get inside yourself. This happened right away. Right now, when you give somebody some money, you feel good right away. But if you expect that you will get this money back, you might have to wait next life. Understand? So you have to separate the two types of consequences that you get from your karma. The one in your mind, you can get it immediately. If you did something bad to somebody, you feel bad right away. If you did something good to somebody, you feel good right away. This is the consequence of your karma that will arise in your mind immediately. But the return you will get from your good or bad karma, this takes time. You can go rob a bank and you might not get caught, But next life you might have got somebody rob your money in return, So this doesn't happen right away. So So you have to understand that some of the bad thing that is happening to you right now is not because you're doing good karma. It's because this is a consequence of your past karma that you did in your past lives, or maybe a few years back, 10 years before, or something like that. If you can understand this fact, then you will not be discouraged from doing good. Look at your heart, look at your mind when you do good things, how you feel, happy or not happy. If you're not happy, it means you do it with a condition. You should not do it with condition. If you do something for somebody, they don't expect any return from that person. If you expect any return, if they don't return it to you, then you feel bad. So this is not doing good. This is doing business. Yeah. So you have to separate your action, whether you're doing good or you're doing business. If you're doing business, you expect return. If you loan somebody money, you want them to return the money plus interest. If they don't, then you feel bad. But if you give the money to the other person and don't expect any money back, then you will feel good. See? So this is what doing good means. To help other people, to make other people happy. When you make other people happy, that happiness come back to you.
So her next question, I wonder whether is karma real? Can Ajahn share some story from real people that you know, not the people stated in the holy book, about merits that can result in happiness?
That's what I just told you. Look at your heart, look at your mind. This is real. When you give your money away, if you help somebody, you feel good. That's the consequence of your good karma. When you hurt somebody and you feel bad, that's the consequence of your bad karma.
Next question from USA, California, from Ficus Religiosa. I'm an American living in California. 3 years ago, I found Buddha Dhamma and it has brought me much happiness. I have faith in triple germs. I read Ajahn Mun's biography by Ajahn Mahabua and it had a profound effect on me. I have studied the teaching of many Thai masters and yours are the first I've encountered that someone who is still alive and teaching today. Up until now, I was disappointed and afraid the tradition was dying in Thailand. I plan to go to Thailand in a year or two to go forth. Please, if you have any advice on what should I do to prepare for ordination and where should I go when I'm ready?
Try to practice meditation as much as possible, because this will keep you going. Don't worry about the other things you can learn as you go along, but you must try to develop in your meditation. Be able to live alone, be able to exist without having anything. Then you can go forth and become a monk. But if you still rely on things, on people to make you happy, then going forth will be difficult for you.
The last question is about Buddhist teacher. She has 3 questions. If what you claim Buddhism is a form of knowledge and you learn it and teach it as a form of knowledge to others, is Buddhism like a map to you and people will reach destination by following the map? If yes, indeed people will reach destination, set their mind, the guidance of map, but perhaps Buddhism is simply realization on emotion itself. Realizing the one holds the map, realizing the one with will, the one with will to travel, not the one as desired to be. What is your opinion?
Well, the teaching of the Buddha is the path to enlightenment, the path to self-realization, and the path to real happiness, true happiness. If you follow the Noble Eightfold Path, then you will become enlightened. You will know who you are and who you are not. And at the same time, you will then be able to have true happiness from this realization.
His next question. I notice you always refer to the Buddha, what Buddha said. You always seem to following Buddha teaching or words. My question is, what about you? Perhaps Buddhism is simply realizing own existence, but you seem to shape your mind into how to exist by following a guide. Is this Buddhism to you?
Well, without Buddhism, I won't be able to be what I am today. So I have to always refer to the master. Without him, I wouldn't know anything that I know today. So why should I forget him and then try to put myself ahead of him?
Do you also learn from your students or any living or non-living beings? If yes, why you make to be a known as a teacher and let others to be students?
I never made myself known as a teacher. I just happened to be discovered. I try to keep a low profile and not involved with anybody. But people start to get to know me and they start to come to ask questions. So I have to give them answers. And then they kept telling other people about me, so they kept coming. I never had any intention to become a teacher. My only goal is to teach myself, to free myself from suffering. As far as teaching, I consider it to be a bonus. I can teach or I don't have to teach, it doesn't matter because I don't get any salary from teaching anyway.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, is that it?
That's all.
All right, thank you for your questions. Please keep them coming. And maybe next month we'll have another session of this question and answer. Good luck. May all being be happy.
Thank you very much.
Okay.